Mindfulness and Me is really the combination of my work as a mental health therapist, my work as a yoga teacher, and the work and the research that I've been doing as part of my psychology PhD. When I was doing that research, and also I've been a fan of Jon Kabat-Zinn's work for a long time, I came across all this research that says, after just 8 weeks of a daily practice, people are significantly less stressed, they're happier, they have better relationships. And I was like, wow, how helpful would it be for people to have an 8-week guidebook that kind of walked them through daily practices? And so that's really where it got started. I wanted to create something that was accessible, something that made sense, something that people could actually use and that might be helpful. I like to say that my book, in as much as a helpful guidebook, also is a myth buster. So pop psychology has a lot of kind of information, and I put that in quotes because a lot of it is just not true, or it's, taken out of context. And so for people who don't know about mindfulness, most people have at least heard of it and have some kind of understanding of like what they think that it is. And so this book was really to kind of help people say like, what really is it and how can I apply it to my life? Right. So again, kind of being more practical, but then also offering a way to kind of break down the barriers, right? Like, oh, mindfulness isn't for me because it's a religious concept, or mindfulness isn't for me because I'm not a hippie. You know what I mean? Like we have all of these like myths and perceptions, right? And so it's about no matter who you are and what you're doing, no matter what your goals are in life, mindfulness is a tool, right? It's a tool to help you get where you're going. It's not a direction to put you on a specific path. And so I think that's really what this book is about, being able to use mindfulness as a tool and also recognizing that the benefits of mindfulness are in the simplicity, right? It's about breathing in and out and being with your breath and practicing that and feeling that in order to believe that really that's all it takes to feel better, right? Because when you say that, like people laugh at you because it sounds ridiculous. But until you practice it, right, you never know because it sounds ridiculous. I always struggle talking about my writing process because it makes me sound like a lunatic. So not a lot of people know this, but I wrote Mindfulness and Me in a month, like a straight 30-day calendar month. And that was not my plan. Originally, my plan was to sit down every day and write one practice because it's set as 8 weeks of daily practices. I was like, oh, let me just do a practice every day and write about it. And, in 8 weeks, the book will be written. Lo and behold, I just got so inspired and like all of the like creativity was flowing. I really felt, like you said, this makes me sound like a lunatic. I felt like a conduit. Like I felt like there was information coming in through my head and I was spouting it out through my fingers. Like I go back and I reread some of the stuff that I wrote and I was like, I wrote that? Like that was me? Like I read it. And like, it's sometimes like I'm reading it for the first time, even though I've read it 6 or 7 times, which is so bizarre. But I really feel like for whatever reason, the inspiration came through me for this book. And so I just wrote it as it came in. This one's hard for me because my teenage self struggled and suffered, but I think really what I would go back and tell myself now is that you don't need to look for the person who's going to come and save you and take it all away and make it all better. Like you can be that person for yourself. And for me, that's what mindfulness is all about. And for a lot of people, mindfulness is about relaxation. It's about stress management. And like, that's a huge part of it. Mindfulness is also about empowerment and say, I have some power over my life. I have a way to cope and a way to manage no matter what's going on outside or inside of me. This comes up a lot in my clinical practice because that's why people come to therapy, right? Is because they're seeking some soothing or some reprieve and they're feeling overwhelmed. And so what I say to people in more words and more sessions typically is that you're not stuck in your feelings. You're not stuck in your stress. You're not stuck in your life situation. You have every right to think and feel the way that you do. And also you have a choice to do things differently if you're ready and wanting to make that choice. And for me, that's what mindfulness is. Like I said, it's a tool. Mindfulness is a set of tools to help you make those different choices, to be able to do and to feel differently and not feel stuck and not feel hopeless and helpless.